Hello and welcome to this video on reconnaissance, the first step in crypto fundamental analysis. So in crypto, this space is extremely speculative. People who are the loudest are oftentimes wrong. You can't wait for someone to tell you what the next big crypto will be. If that's the case, you'll pay $3,000 for someone to tell you that Ethereum is the next Bitcoin. No, if you want the biggest fish, you need to be the best fisherman. In our free ebook, How to Make Your First Million with Cryptocurrency, the essential takeaway was that in order to make your million with crypto, especially if you're starting with something small, you need to find cryptos that maximize yield while minimizing risk. Oh, sure, you say, that's as obvious as buy low and sell high, and to some degree, you're right. But the more you read on projects and the more you start to piece it all together, blockchain technology is extremely disruptive. But that's not enough. You need to find the right team using this technology in such a way to disrupt an industry that has a market. Just because you can tokenize something does not mean the market will value that token. When investing for the long term, research is the #1 key to becoming reliably right. Research would have let you know that Ripple was working with major banks in Asia, while the asset was only half a cent. Research would have informed you of the Ethereum Alliance and how ambitious it was, while Ethereum was $20 or less. You'd find out that NEO, formerly AntShares, had a relationship with Alibaba when NEO was only 25 cents or less. I could go on, but the point is, research and patience is the key to success. Keep in mind, there is no get-rich-quick strategy. So this first section is called reconnaissance, and that's exactly what the first step is to winning anything. Understanding the landscape so you can make a tactical, informed decision. One of the first things you need to understand is that you need to treat the space very differently than a more established market, such as trying to find tech stocks in the NASDAQ to invest in. Because cryptocurrencies and the projects being built around them are essentially the next evolution of the startup culture we've seen explode in the past years, you need to evaluate these projects like a VC does. The information you look at, the projects you evaluate, the potential winners you seek will not be neatly organized. This space is based on a disruptive technology, but the space is also internally disorganized and all over the place. When you have an unregulated market, when things operate like the Wild West, order is a rarity, and it's your job to be the sheriff, to know the good from the bad. There's nothing out there that can tell you where to put your money in. Come back a few months later and wake up to a portfolio with gains over 1,000%. Most people know just as little about this space as the next person. You see, we're so lost in finding answers and attaching meaning to random outcomes that we fail to understand the why. That's the same with markets. There's over 100 different things that affect every increase for a particular coin. Anyone who tells you with conviction that some coin is going up 2 times or 4 times or 10 times in a month is probably lying through their teeth and being overly optimistic or driving the price up to dump it all when the coin reaches a favorable price. You don't want to be that guy that buys in and gets stuck with a worthless coin. A trader, at least the ones I know and speak with, would never state a particular price or be sure about where a coin will be in a few days. They know it doesn't work that way, and even in the most bullish settings, the market is governed by 10 other factors each second, which you have no control over and will drastically affect the outcome. And when it comes to the crypto market, these effects are definitely amplified. I mean, think about it. You spend a day trading a coin you picked over the last week. You follow the trends, you completed a careful fundamental analysis, and since the market is bullish, invested all your funds into it because the market's only going up, right? Well, while you sleep, a Chinese official decides to ban cryptocurrencies. The point is, anything can happen, and no one can tell you where the price of your coin will be in 2 days, 2 hours, 2 minutes. No one. And hence, you should definitely take any advice with a grain of salt. Obviously, it isn't every day that bad news comes out of nowhere. What happens is, you learn to pick up the fishing rod, attach the bait, and fish for yourself. That way, you definitely know if the fish you caught is of high quality. Like I said before, each type of currency has several different underlying factors which affect the price of it. The market is here to stay and blockchain is the future. Many people and pundits argue day and night about the longevity of this space, but we're not here to watch the game play out from the sidelines. We're here to participate. The most powerful economies identify technology and how it helps them, and they use it to their advantage to leapfrog in economic growth. We feel that it would be 10 steps backwards for a nation to ban cryptocurrencies, but obviously the future is not written yet, so anything can happen. Now, it takes a strong stomach to accept losses, but even stronger hands to avoid panic selling. So to break this trend of picking losers, let's learn to fish. First, we need a boat, or more precisely, we're going to start by fishing with a net. So first up, we're going to look at Twitter. One of my biggest learning resources for investments has been following crypto Twitter accounts, guys who've been in the space for years. Anyone can talk and seem knowledgeable, But who actually has the stats to back them up? I went through hundreds of Twitter profiles and looked at people's coin calls from months back. I looked at their success rates and put value on their calls based on that. I began noticing patterns in the way these guys call coins. The most successful guys with the highest success rates usually call the same coin. I began picking up on their habits and the resources they use, and soon I was buying coins before they even mentioned them. Also, you want the best entry points because crypto moves fast. You should also follow the developers themselves, not just the coin. Some of the developers have 1,000 followers, and that's all. But the actual coin they're working on has 100,000. You also want to follow some of the early investors because they obviously know what's going on. Another great resource is Reddit. Reddit is by far my favorite resource for cryptocurrency. You'll find tips, resources, news, and information here that you won't find anywhere else, or at least as easily. With both Twitter and Reddit, you should create your own account that's solely devoted to cryptocurrency. That way you can weed through the noise and only focus on the cryptocurrency news. Subscribe to subreddits such as r/cryptocurrency, r/cryptomarkets, and if you find someone discussing a coin that sounds interesting, then go check out the subreddit for that coin, if there is one. We'll come back to talking about a specific coin subreddit when we discuss community. One good trick I use is going to the main cryptocurrency subreddit and searching for words like undervalued, unknown, gem, radar, favorite, potential, sleeper, pick, top, big, choice, and next. People often use words like these to describe a coin that they're wanting to discuss or advertise. Now at this point you might be thinking, what's the game plan here? Am I just trying to get as many suggestions as possible, or am I looking for quality? Should I be paying attention to what these people are saying, or rather not saying? Should I look for criticisms, and should I compile all of these notes? And my answer is yes to all of the above. You're trying to cast the widest net you can to catch as many fish as you can. As you get more familiar with the space, you begin to notice patterns in the types of messages and types of cryptos to stay away from. You get better at this and more decisive about what to keep in your list and what to throw away. But if you're completely new to this, it's in your interest to look at things as broadly and as objectively as possible to start. So for instance, hunt down 25 coins that people are talking about. Try to take a few notes on each of them so you have a good understanding of what people are saying. If people are mentioning a coin multiple times in different mediums, that's a good sign. One of the ways we can look at what people are talking about is by using social media searching. Coinmonster.io and Solum.io use social media mentions compared to price for cryptos. It's a great way to see what's hot and upcoming. You can sort by Twitter mentions, and if the sites are smart enough, they have built-in algorithms to detect the general feeling on a coin based on the language. It's really something else. So next we have one of the most popular sites in cryptocurrency, coinmarketcap.com. It's generally used to see the crypto market at a high level or to see price history for a specific coin, but it's also very good at helping you become a really good crypto analyst. What I like to do is click view all, and these are ordered by market cap in terms of dollars. Scroll all the way down to the coins with a small market cap, let's say $1 million or $10 million. These are the ones that can be mega winners over time, but obviously the smaller the market cap, the higher the risk. Note on all these coins below this mark with a low to medium coin supply. I like less than 50 million or maybe 100 million. For all of these, also note down their 24-hour volume in dollars. Cross out any coins with lower than a 2% market cap to volume ratio. This is because we want coins that are getting a decent amount of attention. From these remaining coins, cross out all coins that have a far greater total supply than their circulating supply, because this is usually indicative of a large pre-mine, and I'd steer clear of that. There's plenty of coins to pick up without this additional liability. The ones you're left with, and there's usually quite a few, are the ones you need to do further research on. Another trick I like to use is to filter the entire list by the 24-hour volume, and that way you can see coins with high volume yet low market caps or rankings. Be sure to note if a coin does not have a market cap or something else is missing, because it's usually because they haven't entered it into the CoinMarketCap system, and they're likely very new coins. Another trick on the site is to look at the trending gainers and losers. You can filter by 1 hour, 24 hours, or 7 days. This isn't a surefire way to find upcoming cryptos, especially because if they're tiny, they can still technically have insane growth and appear on this list if someone puts in even a little bit of money to them all at once, or if a pump and dump group is pumping that microcap. Still, it's a good way to see what's hottest at the moment. One more thing you can do is look at the volume for exchanges. We can, for instance, look at the volume for Binance and specifically look for volume per coin on Binance. This is useful to see a coin that is small yet having lots of volume on a reputable large exchange like Binance, which is a really good sign. One site that I like to read through every now and then to learn more about cryptocurrency is Steemit, which is a website based around a cryptocurrency, Steem. What's cool is that every post and comment on the site is regarded as a transaction and moves the Steem blockchain forward. What's also cool is that people are paid for the amount of upvotes they receive for their content and comments. Some people bring in a nice income from Steem, so obviously there's going to be some people posting articles and videos to grab attention, clickbait stuff. But there's also some more legitimate content. And some of the best crypto analysis that I've ever seen has been on this website. Similar to Steem, we have the sites Hacker Noon and Medium. Generally, the articles posted on here are more broad or more technical and usually don't focus on specific currencies themselves unless they're already big. But there's also some fascinating stuff on here and the quality is usually excellent. What's good is that a lot of crypto projects use these platforms to make official announcements regarding their progress, partnerships, or a new direction. It's definitely worth a read through, especially over your morning coffee or something like that. Another site that I think is okay for sourcing cryptocurrency tips and suggestions is Quora.com. Quora is a question and answer platform where people ask all sorts of questions and there can be some really good answers. What I've noticed is that generally the quality of the questions and answers isn't always the best, and they seem a little bit more targeted to the person who's only casually interested in cryptocurrency than someone who's actively researching it every day. But nonetheless, it can add some color to your crypto palette and help you gain perspectives you might not otherwise have. If you're somewhat lost as to what the difference is between these coins, and for instance, if you're looking for specific types of cryptocurrencies that all belong to the same sector, then you can use some of the resources that I've linked. For instance, if you wanted to know what the top 100 coins each are doing in 1 to 2 sentences, then the list I linked from Upfolio will really be of assistance. If you want to know the major different sectors of cryptocurrency, then the explanations from OnChain FX, which is a CoinMarketCap competitor, is a really great start. And if you want a visual representation of the top 300 coins with each of the sectors they belong to, then check out the graph from matchcoins.info to get a very holistic sense of that. Of course, things are not actually this simple. Coins will often belong to multiple sectors at once. Projects pivot and take new directions. Projects fail. New projects are starting every day. It's a daunting space for a person who's never been exposed to this before, but it does get easy as you spend more time learning, researching, and doing analysis as we're doing now. One more thing we can do is research ICOs and use them to get a head start on a coin that will likely be big someday down the road. Generally, ICOs are some of the hardest to adequately determine long-term perspectives for, and furthermore, they are inherently dangerous as there are many bad ones. Over half of the ICOs from 2017 have already failed, so that's a pretty good indicator of how saturated the ICO market is. Two of the sites I like to use for researching and finding ICOs, ICOdrops.com and ICObench.com. They do a good job of evaluating projects and categorizing them so you can spend more time looking into the ones that stand out. Hopefully using these resources, you'll be able to find your own list of cryptocurrencies to start from. Now that we have a curated list of all the cryptocurrencies we want to investigate more, it's time to dig into each one of them and perform some fundamental analysis. To do this, we're going to look in the next step on how to do some research so we understand the economic potential of each coin, what current economics are for each coin, and some other good information we need to know as we dive deeper. I refer to this step as the coin supply appraisal. So look for that in the next video.